Good evening, Super Metroid Randomizer fans, and welcome back to another match for the Speedgaming Live Online 2023 tournament. This is the final match of this round in Losers Top 12. We have Bressingham on the left and Audraxys, aka Audra, on the right. My name is DJ Webb. I will be bringing you this series along with Count Cranberry. How's it going?
Going pretty good. I'm looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be a banger.
Yep, these two faced each other in 4 races in a tournament a summer ago. Bressingham got one of them. Audra took the other 3. One of those was in Swiss, and then there was a 2-1 playoff series. But they were all very competitive, very close. These are 2 very good runners. So at this point in the tournament, that's pretty much expected, and we're going to say that every time. But never hurts to repeat.
Absolutely, credit where credit is due.
For sure. And we are also joined on tracking by MM2NES Cartridge. He's going to be drawing a bunch of lines on the screen, giving his best Picasso impersonation.
And for those who may be joining us for the first time here in this randomizer tournament, we have some settings that are consistent throughout the tournament for every race. We have major minor item split, we have full area shuffle, and we have boss shuffle. So the areas of the map you kind of can see in the center are split up, and so the transitions can match to any other particular transition. And then our major and minor items have been shuffled among themselves. So majors all shuffled among the major pool, minors shuffled among the minor pool.
Yep. I wasn't around when major minor became the gold standard of the community, quote unquote, so I couldn't tell you exactly why, other than like generally like you aren't going to be forced to explore like the entirety of the map, and major minor can put you in some silly situations. Full kind of doubles how silly those situations can be, so those are probably some of the reasons, but everyone likes major minor for the most part.
Yeah, it's a good set of combination of settings here. I think major minor pairs particularly well with area, just because you kind of have a little bit of a sense. It helps your routing decisions out a little bit more when you find transitions, rather than going into a new area seeing 0-1 or something like that in somewhere like Upper Norfair.
That is true. The way that the majors are spread out across the map, pretty balanced for the most part for like size of areas. Probably the things that are most off balance are like West Meridia only has 1, East Meridia has 5 that kind of mostly suck. So it's the water area, but yeah, otherwise everything pretty good. And we're starting off with the normal start. We have more vanilla bombs here in the ceiling, which is a little bit interesting, especially considering we did not find power bombs in either of these first 2 minors. So we can already break bomb blocks, which is nice, but bombs have their advantages and power bombs have their advantages. Bombs are obviously infinite, and but they don't break all the same blocks as power bombs. So
yeah, not getting a power bomb. Yep, not seeing that meme route transition. One other impact of getting bombs this early, normally when you go to check Bomb Chorizo, you don't have to fight him, because the trigger that activates Bomb Chorizo is having the bombs item. So it'll be interesting to see. I imagine our runners don't skip Bomb Chorizo anyway and just fight him real quick. They've got super missiles, it's a quick fight, but you never know. If they feel like they need a little bit of an edge, they might skip it. No suit and criteria, so...
Yeah, that's a play that's actually a lot more popular in full rando versus major minor. People don't like... people kind of don't like the Bomb Chorizo check in general, but especially if you have to fight BT himself. And this is it's an interesting situation where, despite supers obviously being, higher damage, you actually would rather do the fight with 2 missiles and 1 super versus 2 supers. And we're not checking 230, which is a little bit interesting. There was a race yesterday it was the only available super for quite a while. In this case, obviously the check is slower because you only have bombs, but if those are power bombs and power bombs aren't aplenty here in the seed, it could be really impactful. And like I said, even if it was missiles, like you don't want to the seed with no missiles for too long.
Yeah, but already 4 super missile packs. So we did see Bressingham turn around and grab that 230 check.
Yeah.
So Audra going to be 1 super pack down. Although I would imagine they check it on their way back over.
Definitely something you could do. It would obviously more efficient if you do it on the way up, but not too different. But yeah, this it's an interesting start. We have a reserve, which, you know, not necessarily as good as an E-Tank, but, you know, it is extra health, especially with the fight. You get to farm some health, so it's probably close to full, if not, you know, completely full already.
Yeah, that reserve tank does come in handy, you know, later on when you're doing hell runs, things like that. The first reserve tank always has, you know, a lot more value than subsequent reserve tanks, but I think you're right. Our runners would probably like to see an E-Tank at this point.
Yeah, Terminator obliges with a vanilla E-Tank placement, and yeah, we're about to get into our first couple of area transitions here on the left side of criteria. See where they take us. First little look into Upper Norfair. Not the greatest health to do anything in there. Think if you're really, really good about managing your health, you could probably make it to like other portals in there, but not too much else. And yeah, we're gonna take a stroll in the cooler area of Red Brinstar here.
It looks like we're going up Red Brinstar. Turian right there. That's good info to have early in the seed.
That it is. And here's another thing with the lack of power bombs. We are not looking at the tube. Those are power bomb blocks. Special ones that explode instead of just breaking. But you know, we're leaving that to the wayside for a little bit. We do have a super though, so Spazer's checkable, which is nice. And the grappling beam.
That does mean that if they weren't comfortable with early X-ray, which I think both of our runners are, this at least, you know, makes it a lot easier. But of course they can't check it anyway because they don't have power bombs.
Yeah, not often that power bombs are what get you and not, you know, a good item to do it. We are like you said, we're not going to be entering the door because it will not open for anything other than power bombs. So another thing that you know, honestly, having both a transition check and an item check in somewhat of the same general area isn't terrible. Oh wow. This is
Wow.
this is certainly something. I don't actually know what was it, 13 supers they entered with? Probably that kills Croc on its own, but if you miss or that's not enough, the farm could get real tricky real quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I feel like you do have to do Croc at this point, because without power bombs, if you keep going up Red Tower, that's a potential soft block, depending on what's at those top 2 portal transitions, because you can't get back out without those power bombs.
It's also very suspicious that it gave you grapple beam, and not only does that make this major check that we just looked at, you know, free. I'm pretty sure, if I don't have any info that's outdated or strictly wrong, that Indiana Jones miner in the pantry, I think grapple beam puts that in logic. To the chagrin of many.
Oh my.
Myself included, because that's like a dumb trick. I guess they had bombs anyway. What am I saying? It kind of didn't matter. You could IBJ up there.
Yeah, but who wants to IBJ when you can do it as the developers intended? That's the way to go.
Most sane humans is my reply to that question. But it also does make this not an IBJ that we are. We're definitely gonna try to use this enemy, you know, to get over.
Audra just tickling that waiver, not quite getting close enough.
First missiles. That's exactly what we wanted.
You can see by Audra's expression, thrilled with that find.
Like I said, you don't want to run around with 0, but you would very much rather those had been vanilla. As we glitch a gate very well, but yeah, it didn't hit its target. It just flew off into the ceiling. But
Audra's saving themselves a farm. Very nice.
Yeah. Didn't have to do this. Like we said, with the IBJ available, you could have gotten up here, but this is definitely the faster way. So no surprise, that's what we're doing. And doing it this way, you get to very much kind of do a clean, what's that, counterclockwise circle of the checks here. And yeah, I assume we're IBJing if we don't get this grapple trick relatively quickly. And yeah, this is the hard part about this. Not only is grapple a bit unwieldy in the air versus, suitless underwater, you kind of can't see the enemies. But is that the last one? It is. Wow, nicely done.
Very nicely done. I think that's the first time we've seen that in a race this tournament.
It might be the first time I've seen it in a race ever, but that's not necessarily, the greatest statement. I haven't been around forever in a day, but yeah, that's not often seen tech. I assume that people on the other side of our SGL, tournament with the vanilla, the early croc runners might be doing that, but in randomizer, definitely not seen it too often.
But missiles at cosine puts our runners in an interesting predicament. So they've got going up red tower as an option, potentially checking those kip miners, or I guess alpha PBs, for power bombs and risking the soft lock or the portals. But they're probably going to save here at Croc. I would imagine you're going to see a save from Audrey here in just a second.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about this. There's been some talk for other randomizers as far as potential changes, and yeah, red tower save would be something that would potentially avoid situations like this where a soft lock could put you in a very bad spot. But Croc's got a save for us right here, and it's quite purple on Audra's side. Yeah, we saw Bressingham IBJ up, I'm assuming as high as he needed to see the missiles, and then says no. And yeah, that grapple ability definitely saving some time.
I'd actually be curious, it took Audra just a little bit to, see the enemies and then grapple. I'd be curious just to see the time difference between IBJ versus traditional.
I agree, yes. But yeah, we are coming up here. That door flashing, that was one of the features in the most recent Varia update. Or no, hold on, 2 updates ago, not the most recent one, but still fairly recent. Where if you're going through a blue door and the other side of it is some kind of ammo door, it will flash that color on the blue side so that that potentially you're going past a point of no return, which is the case here.
Yep, handy notification for the runners. Maybe if you're just not quite aware what miners are required to open the door. But without power bombs at Alpha PBs, we're faced with these 2 portals needing to go somewhere where our runners can do something or find something to get them out.
And it's green Brinstar. We're definitely going to be heading there. Probably just don't want to leave this extraneous elevator check behind. But that's a nice find. There's also some power bomb, isolatable items there, but you're gonna go into a room at Brinstar Reserve with 4 miners in a major, so decent odds that you will be able to find yourself a power bomb there before you get into anything like that. Yeah, so far, unless the criteria crab door, which was available with supers, was something. This is a pretty linear start so far.
Yeah, not a lot of options, and it will be interesting to see what that right of landing site transition portal is later on. But for the moment, we're going to be finding out in just a second what is in this green Brinstar.
Yeah.
And like you said, pretty unlikely that you're going to get all the way through this first half without finding power bombs. 4 minor checks. We'll see, though.
Yes. Power bombs are the least likely of the 3. The way we do minors in the season's races preset is it's a 3-2-1 ratio. So what that means is, basically it's got 6 options. 3 of them are missiles, 2 of them are supers, 1 of them is power bombs. So only a 1/6 chance at any given minor. But given 4, basically you're like, what is that? It's like the odds of not finding a power bomb are like 5/6 to the power of 4, which gets very small very fast when you're doing exponents. So we are We're scot-free though. There's some power bombs.
Runners breathing a sigh of relief that the last, 10 minutes of their race was not all in vain.
Yes, there's some talk in chat. There was a little bit of a tech drop recently here in the Discord for this tournament by Aussie that involves some shenanigans here in Green Brinstar. First of all, they don't have Ice Beam, so they're a little bit of a moot point. And second of all, one of our runners doesn't use Moonfall, so they couldn't have done it in the first place. But if Bress had been looking at, some enemy manipulation with supers and Ice Beam into, like... I mean, it's not a moon dance, but it's like a halted action moonfall or something is what I would call it. But
yeah, it's like getting stuck in a
it.
perpetual falling state. Yeah, but our runners did have regular bombs, so they could have done the traditional moon dance.
That is true and something I didn't think of. Obviously, moon dance. If you're familiar with RBO runs, that's pretty much the only place you're going to see it in vanilla. And in the vanilla game, you know that there are power bombs down here, so it's not a risk. It's just difficult and takes a lot of time.
Yeah, for those who don't know what a moon dance is, there's a floor that Audraxys just power bombed that you can get Samus into a state where she's essentially perpetually falling and then just glitch straight down through that floor to be able to check those items down there.
Yes. Typical of many. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just saying that's probably not the best technical explanation, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say typical of older video games. They cap speed in certain directions, but not other directions. So like falling is kind of negative speed, and you don't really cap that. So you can get moving very fast downward, and that's part of the reason why it works. Obviously. The game expects the floor to catch you if you're moving at normal speeds, but if you're going too fast, it's like the floor doesn't exist. And
looks like we have a little bit of a hiccup. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're back. No harm, no foul.
Yep. And runners just kind of continuing this linear seed for the most part, continuing to explore Green Bryn. We'll see what the portals are down here, which should be interesting. I would imagine at least one of them has to lead to Upper Norfair just by odds.
Yeah, those odds are pretty good. Yeah, we've seen one. There is lots of the map that we haven't looked at, but 4 out of 5 Norfair open. Pretty unlikely that we do find the other, the tube from this side. That's the thing we left behind in Red Brinstar. That wouldn't be maybe the worst. It just kind of depends on how this goes, because like you could clean up that X-ray with the grapple beam, and you could potentially go on from there. But we found Norfair.
We found a Norfair.
Yes.
Audraxys deciding not to tackle Lower Norfair at this time, which is likely a wise move.
Mm-hmm. Some secret intel leaked in Discord last night revolving around a very silly Lower Norfair trip they had recently, but not gonna do that on 3+1, 5 power bombs, no movement other than spring ball. I mean, if you had screw attack and you really wanted a minor check, you could have done that, but that's not the case. And yeah, this was another somewhat likely option, ending up back here in Criteria. So this is past the power bomb door, so this wasn't available at the beginning, but this other door was. So probably we've been on the quote unquote correct path so far. And this will this will show us that.
Well, that's interesting. With that being East Meridia, I think Tube might be the next logical progression. Or I guess you could go back to the lower, Upper Norfair portal at Croc's Door. You've got enough.
Yeah, we do have 4 tanks now.
Yeah.
Those major checks are in logic. I do not know if getting to Business Center is in logic. I'm pretty sure that Reverse Cathedral is actually one more tank than normal way going through, just because it's a little bit more awkward going that way. And I don't know about any movement logic regarding Croc Escape. We do have, I feel like 4 tanks in grapple would be yes, but I don't know that for certain. And we're not looking at Gauntlet. That was definitely an option there.
Yeah, considering the number of outstanding movement items, I'm a little surprised at that, but with only 5 power bombs and regular bombs, it would be a slow check. So it'll be interesting to see if Bressingham checks it.
Yeah. With only 5 power bombs, you do have to supplement bombs. It's not the worst thing, just because like power bombs usually break like 2 rows of the like bomb blocks that you need to break comparatively. So it's like, you know, not the worst thing ever. And yeah, we're gonna go into Upper North here, not cleaning up X-ray or the tube check here, just going to where there's a lot more stuff to do.
Yeah, prioritizing density. And with that grapple beam, you can cross this little croc escape area, so we'll be into Business Center very shortly.
Yeah, and more supers. This is well, it started out all supers, and now we've caught up quite a bit with the misses. I wasn't paying as much attention to that maybe as I could have, but wow, yeah, 45-30 already because only 5 power bombs.
Yeah, Green Brinstar was a haven for missiles.
That it was, and we're getting some more here. With that 230 check Breast did that Audra didn't, it was possible that, you know, if it's a super light seed that you know, those 5 supers could have mattered. The way it's working out right now, it's very unlikely to. And yeah, and Breast is gonna look at this.
I kind of like this, you know, Bressingham doesn't know that he's behind, but depending on what's here, this could give him a sizable advantage. You know, something like speed, ice for access into East Meridia for later in the seed could be very impactful.
Yeah, it's the other, you know, the other boon to doing it exactly right now is that you know, even what we've, you know, seen of the map, you're pretty unlikely to ever be close to it again. So like, you know, if you don't do it now, probably you're not doing it, which those are the kinds of decisions Audra is more than comfortable making. Someone like me who not only doesn't play, but is a little bit, maybe, you know, I think more risk averse is what I'm trying to say, but it could also be less risk averse if I don't actually understand what that phrase truly means. Then, you know, I would have definitely checked it. Bressingham finds an E-Tank, which, you know, obviously not the greatest prize ever seen on Zebus, but, you know, you're more than likely about to be here in these hull runs that Audra's doing, so still not the worst thing.
Yeah, an extra E-Tank never hurts going into Upper Norfair, that's for sure. Audra going for that iceless ice escape doesn't quite hit it, but has a power bomb to back up and get out.
Yeah, and we got the E-Tank at high jump that allowed the hull run to happen without, you know, a ton of refilling, and then we got rewarded with a very nice item, high jump, at the ice beam. So movement gonna be nice from here on out, from you know, especially a vertical height standpoint. It feels like the game was meant to be played with high jump, and it's kind of just a true thing, as we have a Frisch vanilla Crates layer.
And just to remind our viewers, Boss Shuffle is on, so we're going to likely see Audra take a save here.
Also nice that you're not worried about, you know, your power bomb count. If you come in here with only 5, this can be a little bit, you know, dicey. And I'm talking about 5 max, you know. They definitely use want to look at that item, so they may have come in here with 4, but, you know, you can potentially be in places where, you know, powerbomb count in this specific area can matter as far as getting in and out, but with normal bombs, never a worry.
Yeah, the number of times that I have gone into Phantoon with 0 power bombs and relied on drops to get back out, and Phantoon did not oblige, it's a non-zero number, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. Chad,
so
also...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Chad pointing out that if this is exactly Ridley, that E-Tank that Breast got could be pretty huge. 4+1 is doable. It's just rather difficult, and especially without gravity, you need to be very good. This is vanilla.
Kraid is at home today. Breast deciding to take a different approach a little bit and cleaning up that X-ray check. So depending on what's here, again, this could be impactful. So we'll see what Bressingham gets here in just a second.
kind of the same as Gauntlet. It's going to be impactful regardless as far as, time. We've seen, Breast be more thorough so far, and it's resulted in 2 energy tanks, which, like we said, could matter at some point in the future, especially given, you know, the energy that we have is, going pretty far as, potentially missing a various suit and not really caring. But you would like more power bombs for that particular scenario to come to fruition.
Yep, for sure. And that is the risk reward of being more thorough. Those checks, the E-tanks do help, but it does give Audraxys, a fair amount of map lead. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, and here you're also seeing something. Audra's taking this save right here. You saw the save before the boss. Obviously, we didn't know if it was a boss that was going to be killable in a good way. Technically, probably all 4 were doable there. We do have high jump grapple, so escaping from Dragon was possible. And the Ridley fight was very, very tight, but probably doable. But this save is for a portal check we're about to do here on the right side. That's like, a fall down West Meridia potential. It could be, could be very nice to have a safety, get out of jail free card basically. But space and screw attack. What a crade.
Crade is sitting with the goods, and that's a really good point. The safety save right there, in case this check is something like at the top of West Meridia, that's really thinking ahead on Audra's part. So I really like that save.
Yeah, and the divergence continues until it converges. The seed took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, Breast with the thoroughness, the thorough ability to check that tube entrance, which with the high jump we just found is actually in logic, but it led to wreck ship, and Audra found the other side, so our runners are headed to the same location, and probably this is about neutral. Well, no, because Breast can't really look at this from the other side, so Breast is probably just going to go back, unless we somehow have another vanilla boss and we get gravity in here, but that's very unlikely.
Yeah, the one piece that's not equivalent, if this is Ridley, Bressingham is going to have a tough time without all of his supers. Whereas Audra, they've got 40 going in, use a couple on the door, on the green portal. So Bressingham's not going to have a full super loadout. So we'll see if the extra E-tanks help make up for it, supplement with missiles, but that makes Ridley really tough here if this is Ridley.
I agree, and I'm actually interested to see. We could see a third save in what would be like 3 minutes or something like that. But like basically, it would be really nice to keep. Well, I would still save here, yeah, because you keep the last save. I'm just gonna say you probably want the area transition check, even if you can't keep this boss. But if things go bad here, probably you would rather be back at the crate save and go back into Norfair. So yeah, I really like that as well.
Yeah, it keeps your options open. And for viewers at home, the way the randomizer works is in full area, it saves your last 3 saves into the 3 different save slots on the screen. So our runners can save can reload to any of their past 3 saves.
Yeah, and we have a Dragon. Bressingham will have a little bit tougher of a grapple jump getting out, but both of our runners are staying here, which means they're pretty confident in their abilities. Audra got to be a little bit more careful. Health is 1 E-tank lower than Bressingham's side, but as long as you get the quick grapple kill and don't subject yourself to tail hits or you just general Dragon hits, you'll be all right.
Breast making short work of Dragon. Gonna do a little deboost here to get some pickups. Oh, maybe not.
I don't know that a deboost does anything underwater without the gravity suit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ooh, and that was pretty close, but a successful quick grapple from Audra. And our reward is X-ray for a given, definition of reward. But Breast wants it. We do have already plasma, so a charge beam would make things like Botswood and Faintune quite a bit quicker later on.
So without Crystal Flash ammo, Breast only has a limited number of attempts at this. but it looks like he's gaming. Oh, so close.
He was definitely gaming. That was at the last moment, and like I talked about, no high jump. You have to do this trick several more iterations. As you can see, Audra just completely caught up right there. And kept pointing out something, like you were saying with the 3 most recent saves. It looks like they have to be at different save stations, not just 3 saves at the same save station. But probably that won't ever really matter in a bad way. So it seems like fine thing.
Yeah, it'd be tough for the game state to change, making one save at the same save station better than the previous one.
Yeah, and also, say your situation is like, you take the Bubble Mountain save, you go check Northfield Reserve, and then you come back and save after that because it's a good item. Like, probably you wouldn't want to reload the same save from that, same portal that you literally just overrode. So it makes sense in that way as well. Yeah, here's what the thing that I was failing to realize about, the difference between the portal situation here. Bress can't, necessarily do the back portal check in the greatest way. It's probably overall good for him because when you see it from the other side, you're just gonna like, oh, I know where this is, and dip out. Where Audra did take the full wreck ship tour, which isn't the fastest thing in the world, but
yeah,
they're gonna end up in pretty similar places. And Audra will be able to probably clean up that X-ray check if they so desire. And Chad was pointing out that there's the ability to do some West Meridia stuff here. They found pre-aqueduct at the red elevator, so you could do some exploration there. You do have high jump and spring ball and grapple beam, so all that stuff's in logic.
Yeah, it's feeling like Mama Turtle might be having a little something for us. I'm trying to think with this combination of bosses killed and the checks left available to us. It means Fantoon is either in Lower Norfair or East Meridia, which automatically gates out the applicable item you need to reach that one as not being in wrecked ship. So it puts at least one of our suits in a much easier to get position.
Yeah, and Ardra has taken this red tower as an opportunity to use Slitter's refill. Shout out to Slitter's. And probably just gonna go right to where Bressingham is. Right back through Criteria into this Bubble Mountain. Bress is choosing to do Bubble Mountain first. Probably not the best decision overall because there's 3 good movement items over the left between high jump and ice and the Kraid's Lair having space screw. Those are all good Hell Run items.
Yeah, for sure. But with the additional E-tanks that Bress has, I feel like this is, a reasonable play. You've kind of got the density of 3 major item checks here. But of course, without Crystal Flash, it just means you're going to be farming.
Yeah. So we are both going to be in this, general area. We'll see what items we have. But yeah, probably, going to be a bit of a faster clear on Audra's side with, very good movement items. And Bressingham, a little bit more health, which is good, especially at the start. But you kind of both get into a similar situation where, like, you do one of the hull runs and the farm kind of, evens things up. Just Bress has the ability to farm higher, and that's not going to change.
Yep. I did like the wall spring ball jump from Bressingham.
Yeah. When people just go for that Norfolk Reserve wall jump that's very similar to Worst Room without high jump, I'm just like, you have a lot of confidence, and you can lose a lot of time pretty quickly there if it doesn't go well. But yeah, the safer spring ball jump. And yeah, as you see, space jump, that Hell Run, it's a space jump, promotional video.
It really is. Norfair Reserve is just the worst. It's one of my least favorite checks in the game, but Space Jump almost trivializes it.
Yeah, Space Jump or Gravity Suit both make that, potentially very painful room, very, very, very minimally painful. You're just taking heat damage. But, if you live in the Midwest United States, I think we've been taking heat damage for about a week. And, like the cool front that's passed over, at least where I am, we got the Various suit.
Making that heat damage non-existent.
So, yeah. It's going to very much minimize the potential impact of Bress doing this first compared to the business center side, because you're not home running everything. But you know, like I said, those are still some really good items over there you're missing. And if these portals happen to take you elsewhere, it could really be trouble. Especially because Kraid's Lair, it's like, you know, it's there exactly, and you have to find it by going there. With being a one-way portal.
Something like finding the front of Lower Norfair would be really rough. Although I assume Bressingham is familiar with, you know, bootless lava dive, but it's not a fun thing to be doing.
Indeed. Oh, and speed booster as well over here. That makes Bressingham's trip back to the left a lot faster if that's what he decides to do. But yeah, you're right. I believe as well that Bress can definitely do the bootless dive. It's just, if both of them are running through Lower Norfair and one of them has bombs and spring ball and one of them has high jump and space jump, you can bet who's going to be going faster overall.
Yeah, Audra's lead would just, increase, and that's the way it goes with movement items, right? The longer you have a movement item over your opponent, you're just going to incrementally gain time on them over the course of the seed.
And we do end up finding our West Meridia fall down. We're gonna do a little bit of farming and back out of this. I don't think I mind that. I do not know if there was a set of 2 transitions down there that would have been able to lock you down there, especially considering you have spring ball so you can jump back up. So that was definitely not possible, but just wants to maybe doesn't necessarily put a ton of value in that Mama Turtle check and wants to get portals that are, not underwater.
Yeah, I could see something like a meme route and a back of East Meridia being really awkward. I mean, you could get through it, but it's gonna eat your time away.
That was certainly the worst outcome by far in that situation, you're right. But and yeah, we would have ended up here. And okay, so we have 4 transitions left. One of them is meme route. Of course, we walked with that at the beginning of the game, and we haven't, decided to go back there since. One of them is Main Street. The other 2 are front of Lower Norfair and back of East Meridia. So,
I mean, there's a non-zero chance that East Meridia and Lower Norfair loop. No, I guess they could loop into each other.
They can loop into each other for sure, and that would just make Main Street go to meme route. So I think probably we're just gonna go to LN here. That seems like a pretty fine play. It's maybe not exactly what's going on here. What's on the right side of criteria?
Right side of criteria.
Probably Newbridge. I think that might be the back.
Yeah.
Because Newbridge gives you the free, free air quotes, waterway cleanup, and then from there you can end up, at the Green Hills, which is where Lower Norfair is. So, right on the way.
And if the front of Lower Norfair, well, that's an interesting question. So, you go to the right side here, you go down into Lower Norfair. Do you check the front of Lower Norfair without gravity suit? Do reverse amphitheater on the gamble that it's East Meridia? Because with Dragon dead, you can go down the back. You've got space jump to get through Cack Alley. I don't know. That's assuming you don't find gravity suit, of course.
Yeah, I think there's definitely people in chat who can tell us about Bressingham's comfortability with the potential underwater wall jump. I don't think Audra's got that in their wheelhouse. I don't like not doing waterway here. I really don't. But that's what's happening here. But yeah, you're right. There's definitely a chance that that front of Lower Norfair, regardless of what it is, it would give the runners full portal knowledge. But
yeah,
none of the options are particularly great, honestly, unless we find gravity down here.
Chat pointing out that you can do back-to-back Lower Norfair and then just go straight to Aqueduct at the Crab Hole portal, so probably not a lot of incentive to try and find the back.
Yeah, you have to suit this Crystal Flash Clip to do that successfully right now, again, unless we find a gravity suit. And
Also true,
we
yeah.
can't sue this Crystal Flash clip because we have 5 power bombs. Yeah, as people are pointing out,
I suppose Audra could get a spike suit and carry it all the way.
that is true. Obviously, Ice Beam would mitigate all of that. But yeah, considering all those things we just said, I think the wall jump actually looks really good in this seed. Especially if it's like, right here in Lower Norfolk, and that's what you do right now. But we'll see. And again, that waterway, you were way too close to waterway. I don't know. Feels very, very strange. I guess if your plan was back-to-back regardless, you can not do it if you find gravity here. That makes some sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like checking it on the way out is probably the right play. Although really, if Fantoon is down here, all you're checking is Firefly, so that's really only one major check.
Yeah, that's the other thing about it. Like, Screw Attack is completely imperfectly in logic, and that is a very possible, gravity seat location. So, who knows? This could get interesting here. Bressingham looked at Kraid's lair, went to the right, saw Rex ship, and is back in Kraid's lair. So I guess see how he feels about how these, portals are working out.
So I guess the question, Bressingham is going to be taking out Kraid here. What's Bressingham's path to kind of get back into the race? Right now, Audra has a pretty good lead. What suit location / pathing could Bress take that would get him back in?
Definitely that Mama Turtle check. You have to, on the right side, you find your way into the top of Green or West Meridia. We saw that, with the single chamber portal. Bress didn't have, all of the good stuff that he's going to have this time. So he could go back there and just, pop Mama Turtle. So, if Gravity or Ice Beam is there, that's really big. Otherwise, it looks like this definitely, it's looking like the logical path, if you can call it a logical path with these speedrun setting, but it's giving you the beginning was very linear, and now it's kind of like, hey, we gave you the Varia, you got all these movement items, you come down here, there's a Fantoon, you can check all the wreck ship stuff. So very possibly Gravity's sitting somewhere there, but and honestly, it's not too far away to check. It kind of is, actually.
Yeah, cross criteria, go to, 2, and then you're checking the top of wrecked ship. I mean, you have speed, so you can check the whole thing, but oof.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about the back portal, but I'd forgotten how far away we'd gotten from Norfair, especially because Bress is there. But yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, and the other thing about it, especially if Audra's plan was back-to-back, you only got one major check with Fantoon here. If Ridley was vanilla, we would have gotten both, the knowledge that Gravity definitely wasn't in wreck ship, but also, another major that isn't Screw Attack down here. So
yeah,
decision points coming here for sure. This is another reason why I really liked Waterway, because that was Gravity, everything's done. If it wasn't Gravity, how good Screw Attack check is, relatively speaking. Here they're, Screw Attack and Waterway are in opposite directions. But yeah, let's see what both of our runners decided to do, actually. This is potentially a very pivotal moment in the game. That save looks like an item and a transition check potentially on the left side. But you could save scum either way, right? They're both kind of similar distances apart.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason you save here is if you're going reverse amphitheater. I don't know that you save scum back to it. Well, Audra once again proving me wrong, because Audra knows more than I do.
Waterway is the other way, right? It's kind of also a safe scum. If you want it to be, right? Oh, and
is Audra going for the spike suit?
Potentially. Aussie in chat was calling for it. It would not be the easiest thing in the world to hold that forever for certain. But yeah, it's a way through East Meridia that is kind of, I mean, it's the only non-underwater wall jump way that exists to our runners right now with no ice beam. But yeah, this is not easy to do.
So I think Bress just maybe misrouted a little bit, misremembering where the top of West Meridia is.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about the setup for this trick, but like the enemy being there doesn't feel good to me. It probably doesn't matter in any way, but like I would just screw attack that thing. Cause it's in the way, like move. It's like the person at the red light who it turns green and they're just on their phone. Like, get out of the way. And there it is. There's the spike suit. So yeah, probably we're just going to what's the name of that place? Aqueduct, right?
Yep.
And that's it's right back out New Bridge to the crab portal in Crateria, so it's not far away. So assuming you're tight about not doing a non-spin jump, as well as damage boosting off enemies also tricks things up, but screw attack if you spin jump very much mitigates a lot of that. And Plasma's also letting you run through enemies pretty quickly here. So yeah, this looks like a very nice play, honestly.
Yeah, if Audra can successfully carry this suit, that'll put them in a commanding position to finish this seed out, get the last G4 boss, and head to Turian.
Absolutely commanding for sure. The way that the portal decisions worked out with Business Center first and whatnot it's routed so much better for Audra, as Bressingham is here in West Meridia and not falling to Mama Turtle, which is a little odd to me.
That's pretty surprising. Mama Turtle was, one of those outs that Bressingham had. If it was Gravity Suit, then that puts Bressingham in a really strong position, assuming, it takes Audra some time to pull this off.
Yeah. And we get the information here. It was Main Street to Ridley out at the front of Lower Norfair. So that back of East Meridia is sitting at it's sitting at Meme Route. And you're seeing the alternate to the grapple climb, which is, I believe, a lot more difficult if you have exactly a spike suit and not a blue suit like you would have in RBO. So this makes some sense here. To just, do this very easy spring ball on the snail, and it takes you all the way up the stairway to heaven.
So for anyone watching who's not familiar with what Audra's doing, when we're talking about a spike suit, Audra executes basically a maneuver that allowed them to carry a Shine Spark permanently, so long as they don't do just a straight jump. So spin jumps the whole way means that they can carry that Shine Spark that Audra just did to get through that Batuin hallway.
Yeah, and the other thing you might have noticed is that Samus's gun was pointing at the floor a lot of the time. If you hold angle down and you jump, it will not activate the Shine Spark, kind of like a spin jump. Someone that knows why may be able to tell you why. But yeah, that was a very heads up and very good play that, like we said, like the position is like even more commanding than it was a little bit ago, quite frankly. Especially because Bress found his way down here and didn't even didn't do either Mama Turtle or Screw Attack, which were checks that Audra left behind, which in maybe other scenarios could have been the keys to this, but from where we are now, yeah, looks very, very commanding.
Yep, Audra is just gaming. That's the answer here.
Yes. From here, the rest of the Silas Meridia is pretty straightforward. You don't have Ice Beam in here, which you kind of like, but the grapple climb isn't too bad, and you've got Space Jump for like the rest of it. So just be a little bit smart with how you're ascending this room, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, Bressingham is falling behind. If he makes that same play, I mean, we're gonna see some absolute crazy feats of Super Metroid here. It's just gonna be a little unfortunate, how the pathing and decision making has worked with, we called it out, like Bress was being more thorough. This wasn't the seed to be more thorough. It didn't work out like it could have in other seeds. Gauntlet didn't have the keys, X-Ray didn't have the keys. you know, that 2 portal was gotten to on the other side at the exact same time by Audra, so...
Yeah, and that's the other thing though too is, you know, Bressingham didn't make any mistakes, right? Like all the decisions that Bressingham made were logical decisions to make at the time. It was just, you know, rando gonna rando and just put him in a less than optimal routing situation.
Yeah, I have a feeling that like if I'm in Bress's shoes and I see this, you know, maybe I feel bad about, you know, doing the portals the way I did and putting off getting, you know, high jump, screw attack, space jump for as long as I did. But otherwise, I'm probably not feeling terrible about how this is going. And this finish is going to come in pretty fast for this seed, I have to say.
Yeah, especially if that that gravity suit is somewhere like in wrecked ship, it's going to be a very fast finish.
Yeah. And Audra realizing that they should have tried the gravity jump, didn't even attempt it, not just gonna spring ball jump up.
Meanwhile, Bressingham finishing off boss 3 out of 4, Fantoon dead in Lower Norfair.
Yeah, we'll see what he's feeling. These settings, they have the ability to make suit skips very, very powerful. I think you're seeing a pretty good example of that here on the right side. But, you know, from Bress's perspective, like, options right now are, again, they're exactly what Audra did, which was, you know, very heads up and, you know, a difficult feat to pull off. There's the, you know, there's the underwater wall jump option, which you have to go all the way to meme route for, which kind of stinks, frankly. And then there's, like, you know, looking for gravity, ice, or, you know, 2 more powerbomb packs.
Which are all probably in wrecked ship, which nobody wants to go back to after you've already killed the boss.
Yeah, a distaste for backtracking in a game that pioneers, you know, a video game genre kind of known for backtracking. It's kind of funny that that's how the scene has worked out, but, you know.
Sweet irony.
It's how we do things here on the Speedgaming Network and in our video game communities, which, you know, are ever growing. We've seen this tournament, you know, new faces, new people stepping up to, you know, the top of the scene, getting better. It's great to see how far people are, you know, willing to go push this game, push their competitive spirits. And I mean, yeah, like we said, we saw an Indiana Jones missile guiding the vanilla way. We saw this, you know, RBO-esque spike suit carry in the East Meridia. Like, people are going crazy. Oh
yeah, gamers are gaming in this game. And for a game that's, you know, 20, 30 years old, 20 years old, I guess.
Oh, it's
you know,
it's 94 in some territories, most, if not all. So yeah, almost 30.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, and the community is just as strong as it's ever been. You know, seeing, you know, new fresh blood coming in, a lot of new up and comers in the community and in this tournament even. It's great.
Yeah, you can see Bressingham. We haven't really talked about the ammo situation because, you know, the supers at the beginning made it so, like, we were never really in that much danger of, like, ammo mode. But 150 is plenty, but wants power bombs, so is still checking miners. There were some people saying that Fireflies was potentially skipped. I was unfortunately looking on the right side and didn't quite catch that, but, like, you know, if that's the case,
tank.
Okay, yeah, well, either skip the check or didn't get the item. But yeah, like, if you're committing this hard to power bombs, it feels like majors are pretty much equal weight and, like, you know, exactly Ice Beam and Gravity Get Go mode. And we've skipped 3 majors in the somewhat near pass from Bress with, you know, the Screw Attack, Fire Flea, maybe or maybe not, the Waterway, also the Mama Turtle.
Turtle, yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that I'm not a mind reader and I don't necessarily know what Bress was thinking. I'm also not sure. Audra went through that gauntlet. It seemed like it was, you know, maybe I spike ice and get really lucky. Also, maybe, you know, the miners in the back help me out because 70-55 is it's not a great minimum, but it is a minimum. And skip both missiles, which feels odd, I'll say. Yeah. And also, I guess Powerbomb is probably also what they were looking for because we're going to a 5 Powerbomb Turian. Which is
without Ice Beam, 3 power bombs to kill the Metroids. The elevator in full area does refill you, so we're going to see a couple trips back to the elevator for Audra.
Yeah, you almost certainly need to. You could have to refill after every single room. We saw a race in the league finals where Zeb came in here with 5 power bombs, and in both rooms 1 and room 3 got a single drop, and it made it on only 2 refills. But if you don't get lucky, like no drops means you're coming back after every room.
Yeah.
And it does look like Bress's plan this whole time has been the underwater wall jump because he's coming here and he hasn't been checking any majors. So my lack of mind reading on full display.
Yeah, and you know, if Bressingham felt like he was behind, it makes sense to skip those checks if you know you've got the ability to do the underwater wall jump to get through the back. But you know, any one of those movement items would have saved you significant time. So it's always that trade-off.
Yeah. This is, I mean, yeah, and this 5 power bomb, you know, Turian, another reason that maybe major checks had, you know, a little bit more viability. You know, Ice Beam, like, so good. You're not doing any refills. You're just doing the Metroids probably as Gear Force intended, with you know, shot of the Ice Beam and a super.
Yep. Back to the elevator.
0 for 2 so far on getting a singular drop on the Metroids. Obviously, this room is only 2 Metroids. Room 1, I believe, has 4, so you were much more likely in the first room versus the second room. But so far, you know, 0% batting average.
And while we were watching the Powerbomb saga unfold on Audraxys' side, Bressingham did pull off, or is on his way to this underwater wall jump. So let's watch this this tech.
Yeah. So basically, with you need high jump, you need space jump. Once you do some, you know, very tight and very tricky single-sided wall jumps underwater, you will break the surface. You'll see, you know, the screw attack start to go off where it doesn't underwater, and your space jump will be able to activate. And you do that. People make it look really easy these days, and it's,
oh my gosh,
kind of upsetting. I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is not easy. As soon as you break that plane, you think, oh, I'm good, I'm clear, and then you just get sucked right back down into the water. So Bressingham just giving us a masterclass on how to go back to front.
Yeah, so that skips, you know, longer suitless sections in the front, and also, like we said, like the option for getting through the front was a Crystal Flash clip with power bombs we don't have, an Ice Metroid clip with an Ice Beam we don't have, or Spike Suit carry, which is what we saw. And yeah, 0 for 3 on these rooms. We're headed back to the elevator.
And you know, that's got to be feeling tense for Audra. I mean, I assume Audra is feeling pretty good about their position right now, but anytime you have to go back to the elevator, you know, 4 times, that's going to make you a little nervous.
Or certain, especially in rooms 1 and 3, like the number of Metroids makes it a pretty fair chance that you're going to get 1 drop, and no such luck. People are used to seeing, you know, vanilla speedruns, and they're like, wait, I see, you know, my favorite vanilla runner go through these rooms, and you get like 6 drops. For whatever reason, when you kill them with missiles or supers after the power bomb, that's true. And when you kill them with power bombs, you get 1. And that's just how it is.
That's how the Metroids roll.
There's also some discussion in chat. The aforementioned tech drop that I mentioned earlier that Aussie did, it also involved a way through reverse Cac Alley that isn't. That reaction was to the first powerbomb drop of Turian in the room where it didn't matter. But yeah, you can do a springboard jump into to break the surface of the water, and then if you're really good and you time the Cac attack, you can get hit by a spike and deboost up. That might be harder for some people than the underwater wall jump, but it is another possibility.
The true forbidden tech.
Shout out to Aussie. He's the kind of guy that loves that kind of stuff. Loves, you know, finding and you know, making obscure tech. And you know,
I mean, sometimes
it seems, you know, like this
obscure tech wins races sometimes.
Yeah, and it seemed like this where who knows where gravity was. You know, there's still the opportunity for it to be, you know, on path enough where it was, you know, good and maybe even better to get. But you know, if it's at Wreck Ship Reserve, I think both of our runners are happy they did what they did. So here we are at the end. We need this speeds up skip. Oh wait,
There
hold
it
on.
is.
My brain was silly and I was thinking 70-55 was the minimum and not 70-50, so we were always super fine on ammo. And once again, my mouth has said some words that may have misled you.
Well, we did just miss one super, so we do want to keep a close eye on those. I am interested, though, why Bressingham chose to go back out the back. It feels like, you know, taking a trip down the sand pit and going out the front would have been faster, but I don't know.
By quite a bit, I think, yeah. I think this is not as close as the front, and like where the portals go is also farther away from Turian. So it could be, I mean, it could be a misroute. It could be, you know, not necessarily thinking things all the way through, or just, you know, maybe
I came in this way, I'm going to leave this way.
Yeah. So, someone who was paying closer attention to current ammo counts would have told you how many supers Audra had to spare. I'm not that person though, so I'm just going to tell you that this is Randomizer, and this is someone who's played a lot of Randomizer and had a lot of success, and they'll be fine with this fight, and I have no worries, and I don't think they did either.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Audra had enough ammo going in and didn't miss. Easy.
It's you know, there's an old somewhat meme adage in the Super Smash Bros. Community: just don't get hit. You know, it's the same here. Just don't miss. Yeah, Preston's got to make his way to Red Tower, where Turian is, and you can do that on the left side where Kago is. So it's really not. I mean, it's not too far, but you do have to do some criteria rooms that you like to see at the beginning of the game and no other time. Yeah. All things considered, I mean, this race is like, you know, for what's happened and like from, you know, at least our perspective, it looks like how well Audra played this. Like, this is not a blowout. Like, Bress held his own. Bress played really well. He's definitely going to make his way into Turian before the dot done is seen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly like you said. By no means is this a blowout. This had some really interesting tech in it that we saw from both runners. The different approaches to East Meridia was interesting, and I think might have been the first time we saw a spike suit in this tournament as well. So, or at least in that particular usage.
Yeah. So yeah, in Turian, we potentially are going to get to see some better luck on Bressingham's side as far as the power bomb drops go, but yeah. I was a little bit forgetting about that time-wise as far as how close they were, but yeah, nonetheless, like, you know, my point holds. I thought maybe we were like, you know, 5 minutes away from a finish on Bress's side, and you know, not potentially 7 if the luck goes badly.
Yeah, those elevator visits, they're just killer. Oh, good luck for number 1.
Already better. So, it is impossible to get 3 power bomb drops from 2 Metroids, so you're not skipping this refill, and that's why you saw Bress, you know, just stay at the top of the room. No need to go to the bottom when you're coming back out the top. And Metroids are being kind, not wasting a drop there where it wasn't useful. So I think we're getting a room 3 drop as well. That's my call.
Audra into the escape.
Yep. Like I said, you know, time for finishes is pretty seed dependent. In this seed, I think this is a really fast time. Like, the only thing that you can ask for if you're Audra is, you know, reloading that spike suit a few fewer times. Like, what else are you doing better? That isn't,
Yeah.
you know, fighting Gravity Suit at like Waterway. Which
Yeah,
it might
it
not be
was
there.
just expert play. And really a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. This is a game 1 victory for Audra on the ship with an official race time 1 hour and 3 minutes and 39 seconds. Bressingham saw that and entered a forfeit. Was it like 20 seconds later? So probably at this elevator, about right there. So yeah, great game 1, nicely done to both players, and yeah, the players had a little bit of a chat about things, and the next race will be underway. Oh, the next race is underway in real time, so we'll have a short break after we roll these credits. I want to see where the items were, which we didn't find 4 beams in a gravity suit.
Yeah, we'll take this opportunity. If you don't already follow these runners, please go to their Twitch pages and do so.
That's true. These are 2 runners. I believe both of them are also in the SMZ3 tournament as part of this Yellow Online. So they'll be competing in that as well. So if you like them, follow their channels, and also stick around that Speedgaming schedule. Once group stages are over, we might get some restreams on that tournament.
SMZ3 is one of those games that's just, it seems so overwhelming to try and get into. I mean, just I know the Super Metroid side, but Z3 is just its own animal.
It definitely is, and
it's a lot of fun to watch, though.
Yeah, it's got a lot of it's got a lot of advanced tech of its own, that we saw here. It's also got very large community, a pretty crazy meta that's going on. So yeah.
All right, we've got the credits coming up. Where do you think Gravity Suit was? Make your call.
Well, MM2 in chat has said it was at Turtle. I don't know how MM2 knows that, but I'm gonna go with that because he was pretty confident. Like, he just said that's where it was.
Spoiling the credits for us, MM2.
Oh, MM2 checked Game 2 chat. That's why he knows. And also, it looks like Chad has also looked at the ammo ratio, which went by as we did not look. 3 power bombs in the whole seed, apparently.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen a seed with that few number of power bombs.
I think someone posted a picture in League chat when League was going on of a 4. But yeah, 3. Yeah, Chad is right. 3 peeps total is stupid. Like, there is no other word for that. It's stupid.
You just have to full clear the map once, and then you can crystal flash once. I mean, that's a fair trade-off, right?
Exactly. So let's see. Wave was at Waterway. Spazer was at Wreck Ship Energy Tank. Yeah, there's the Mom Turtle confirmation. And Ice was at Plasma.
Oof. Yeah, that was a check I don't think we were going to be seeing.
Oh, and Charge was at Spring? That was the one thing oh my goodness. What in the heck?
Shack Tool with the energy. All right, well, we are 5 minutes out from the start of the next race. I have to drop off. D-Web, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, Count Cranberry, and I believe if things have been approved, Kip said in the Discord he'd be joining me for the rest of the series. So
very nice, very nice. All right, well, chat, have a great time watching the end of this series. Let's hope they take it to a game 3 for all of our entertainment's sake, and stick around. A lot more great racing ahead.
Yep, we will see you soon.